Well, welcome to Brew Builds, your place for DIY home improvements. I'm Paul. I noticed this shelf was loose the other day, so I'm going to remove it and see if I can replace the drywall anchors with some stronger ones. You ready? Let's fix this. Whenever you're mounting a shelf, it's always best if you could get a screw into the stud. Sometimes you get lucky, but the majority of the time, your shelf brackets do not line up with a stud. That is why you get these little plastic anchors when you buy a shelf. While these are easy to install, they're not very strong and they won't hold much weight. But there are some better drywall anchors that you can use. Tools and items needed: drywall anchors, a screw gun drill, a 1/4-inch drill bit, and a Phillips screwdriver. There are quite a few drywall anchor options that you find at your local hardware store. Typically, you get a plastic insert when you buy a shelf, and they may vary slightly, but they basically work the same way. When you stick a screw into it, it will end up spreading the plastic out into the drywall, and that will hold it in place. Another type, and better in my opinion, are the ones that screw into the drywall. They come in both metal and plastic, and they can hold much more weight, but you do need to be careful installing these. If you want even a stronger hold, then there's the toggle type anchor mount, where when you put this into the wall, a piece of metal will flip out like this, and then when you tighten the screw, this will tighten against the drywall. Now, these do have some drawbacks because they're pretty much permanent, and sometimes they won't open up because of something inside your wall. All right, let's get the shelf taken off and see what we're dealing with. On the brew scale, technical ability I rate as a beginner. This is a project anyone can do. Physical ability I rate as easy, but if you have a larger shelf, you might need some help holding it in place. I'll remove the bottom screws first, since most of the weight is carried by the upper screws. Make sure to support the shelf before removing the last two screws. Have someone help hold the shelf if needed. Before I put the new anchors in, let's run out to the garage and I'll show you how these different types of drywall anchors work. What is nice about purchasing a drywall anchor kit from the hardware store is it will come with a masonry drill bit and the proper size screws. Different size plastic drywall anchors do need the correct size drill bit. This one is a 1/4 inch. After drilling the hole, insert the anchor into the hole and press it in. You need it to be as flush as possible, which may require a few taps with a hammer. Then, as the screw goes into the plastic insert, it will spread the anchor into the drywall. This type works okay for lightweight jobs. Now, if you don't have a drill bit, for these size anchors, you could use the Phillips bit on your drill gun. This will only work on drywall. The drywall anchor I prefer are these screw-in types. They hold much more weight than your other plastic ones. They have a self-drilling tip to make a hole in the drywall, then the threads will grab and hold it in place. They screw in easily, just go slow and keep them going straight. I noticed these toggle type drywall anchors a few years ago. They are much better than your traditional toggle bolt that requires a 5/8 inch hole to be drilled first, then you would insert the bolt into your shelf bracket and install everything together. These are self-drilling, just like the basic screw-in type drywall anchor. Now when you start screwing in the screw, it will open up the toggle, making it parallel to the drywall. Then the screw will go into the hole of the toggle and start to move it towards the drywall until it tightens itself. Now you can remove the screw and the anchor will stay in the drywall. Now, the first two types can be easily removed, but like I mentioned before, the toggle type cannot be removed. Another disadvantage with the toggle type, you'll notice that it goes much further into the wall, which could end up hitting your electrical or plumbing. One other thing to show you with these screw-in types is they are like a drill. You just want it tight enough to compress the drywall paper, but not tear it. So if you're not careful and push way too hard, you can end up drilling a hole in your wall. Okay, let's go back to the shelf and replace those anchors. To remove a plastic drywall anchor, insert a screw with a couple of turns. Then pull on the screw and wiggle. You should be able to pull out the anchor with your hand. Once those are removed, then screw in your new drywall anchors. Since there is already a hole, these should go in very easily. Tighten it enough just to get it flush with the drywall. You may want to set your drill gun clutch to a low number to prevent drilling out the drywall. Let's screw in the last two anchors. Okay, time to reinstall the shelf. I'll do the top ones first to hold up the shelf. It's best to use the screws that came with the anchors. That way you know they are the correct size. If the shelf came with decorative screws, they should work as well. Just make sure that they are not too big to go in or too small that they will fall out. I like to put all the screws in first, but not tighten them. That way you can still move the brackets around slightly if needed. Once they're all in, then go around and tighten each screw. Well, that was easy, and this shelf should be a lot stronger than it was before. Hit that like button for me and subscribe to Brew Bills to see more DIY videos like this one. Now I get to put up this sailboat that I've had since I was a kid. So it's pretty old.